the gentle power of not reacting, finding peace in a world of triggers. Have you ever felt like you're on an emotional roller coaster, constantly tossed around by the ups and downs of daily life? A snide comment from a colleague, a frustrating traffic jam, a seemingly innocent remark that suddenly ignites a firestorm of anger or sadness within you. In our fast-paced, hyper-connected world, it's easy to feel like we're at the mercy of our emotions, reacting impulsively to every trigger that comes our way. But what if there was another way? What if we could learn to navigate these emotional storms with greater awareness, calm, and even a sense of peace? This isn't about becoming emotionless robots, suppressing our feelings until they erupt in more destructive ways. It's about discovering the power of not reacting, of creating a space between the stimulus and our response, a space where we can choose how we want to feel and act. This is a central teaching in Buddhism, one that has helped countless people find inner peace, and it's a practice that's incredibly relevant in our modern, often chaotic, lives. Let's start with a story, one told many times, perhaps in different forms across various traditions. Imagine a king, a man of power and privilege, visiting a neighboring kingdom. He's greeted with great honor, a lavish feast prepared in his name. But during the meal, a fly lands in his soup. The king, disgusted, immediately demands a new bowl. The king of the neighboring kingdom, a wise and serene man, observes this outburst. He doesn't condemn the king's feelings. He simply states, "It's not the fly that ruined your mood, but your reaction to it. You have the power to control your emotions. Do not let them control you." This simple observation carries profound wisdom. It reveals a fundamental truth, that we often suffer not because of what happens to us, but because of how we react to it. The fly in the soup is a metaphor for all the small annoyances, the unexpected setbacks, and the daily frustrations that we encounter. These are inevitable. They're part of the tapestry of life. But our reaction, the anger, the frustration, the negativity, is a choice we make, often unconsciously. Think about a time when you reacted impulsively to something, perhaps a message or a comment on social media. Did you fire back with anger or frustration? Did you allow that small trigger to ruin your day? Did you later regret your response? We've all been there. The story of the king is a reminder that we have the capacity to interrupt that cycle, to step back from the emotional reactivity, and make a more thoughtful and wise choice. Another story helps us understand this process on a deeper level. Meet Michael, a young man in a bustling modern city, much like any of us. Michael was known for his volatile emotions. He would lash out in anger, say hurtful things, and create conflict wherever he went. He often found himself regretting his words and actions but seemed trapped in this cycle of reactivity. He felt helpless, like his emotions were dictating his life. But Michael, driven by a desire for change, decided to explore practices that could help him manage his emotions. He discovered mindfulness and meditation. Through these practices, he began to become more aware of his thoughts and emotions, observing them without judgment, like watching clouds drifting across the sky. When a trigger would arise, Michael started taking a deep breath, a conscious pause. He didn't immediately react. He acknowledged the feeling, and then he chose how to respond, often with a thoughtful and calming approach. It wasn't easy at first. There were times when he slipped back into his old habits, getting angry, feeling frustrated. But with consistent practice, he found that he was more and more often able to step out of the reactivity. He noticed that his relationships improved, that conflicts lessened and harmony grew. He became known for his calm and thoughtful demeanor, a source of inspiration and advice for others. One day, a friend approached Michael, burdened by problems. Michael listened patiently and offered words of comfort and support. The friend, impressed by Michael's calm demeanor, asked him how he was able to manage his emotions so well. Michael, in turn, shared his journey, the struggles and the triumphs, and the power of not reacting. He explained that he still experienced the full range of human emotions, including anger and sadness, but he had learned how not to be controlled by them. He had developed the skill to choose how he wanted to respond. These stories, though separated by time and place, highlight a fundamental truth. The path to inner peace is not about escaping emotions, but about learning to manage our reactions to them. This resonates strongly with Buddhist teachings on mindfulness and detachment. Buddhism doesn't suggest we should become emotionless. Rather, it encourages us to be aware of our emotions without being attached to them. We acknowledge the feeling but don't identify with it. We see it as a passing phenomenon, like the fly in the soup, not a permanent part of ourselves. So how do we cultivate this practice of not reacting in our own lives? Here are some actionable steps, drawing from Buddhist principles and modern techniques. 1. The power of the pause. When you feel a strong emotion arising, anger, frustration, sadness, the first step is to simply pause. Take a deep breath. You might feel the physical sensations of the emotion, a clenched jaw, a tight chest, a racing heart. Acknowledge those sensations without judgment. Just observe. This pause is crucial. It creates space between the trigger and your reaction. It allows you to disengage from the automatic response and choose a more conscious one. 2. Mindfulness and meditation. These practices are powerful tools for developing self-awareness. Mindfulness is simply paying attention to the present moment, without judgment. Meditation, a practice of training the mind, helps you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions, allowing you to see them for what they are. Fleeting mental events, not defining characteristics of who you are. Regular mindfulness meditation, even just a few minutes a day, can significantly enhance your ability to notice your emotions arising and to create that crucial pause before reacting. There are great resources online that can guide you through these practices, even if you've never tried them before. 3. Identify your triggers. What situations or people tend to trigger strong reactions in you? Understanding your triggers is like understanding your personal hotspots. Awareness is the first step to change. Perhaps it's certain types of comments, specific topics, or interactions with particular individuals. By recognizing your triggers, you can start preparing yourself to respond more consciously, rather than impulsively when they arise. 4. The art of non-judgment. Often, we react strongly because we judge ourselves and others harshly. We get caught in loops of thinking, why did they say that? Why am I feeling this way? Cultivating non-judgment is crucial to emotional regulation. Instead of labeling your emotions as good or bad, acknowledge them simply as feelings. See your reactions as information, not as indictments. Treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would offer a good friend. 5. Cultivate compassion. Buddhism teaches that understanding our own suffering can foster compassion for others. When you feel triggered, try to remember that the person causing the trigger might also be struggling with their own issues and frustrations. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help you respond with greater understanding and less reactivity. And don't forget to extend that compassion towards yourself as well. We all make mistakes. We all react badly sometimes. Learning from those moments is more beneficial than dwelling on our failings. 6. Speak with intention. When you do choose to respond, take a moment to consider your words carefully. Ask yourself, is this helpful? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. And when you do speak, let your words be thoughtful and deliberate, aimed at building understanding, not creating conflict. 7. Practice letting go. Finally, remember that everything changes. Holding on to anger, resentment, or hurt is like carrying a heavy burden. Practice letting go of these negative emotions. They do not serve you, and they only perpetuate cycles of reactivity. Letting go does not mean that you are condoning unacceptable behavior. It means that you are choosing to release the emotional suffering that arises within yourself from it. It means finding inner peace within you, irrespective of the outside world. This journey towards not reacting is a continuous process, not a destination. It requires patience, persistence, and most importantly, self-compassion. There will be times when you fall back into old patterns, but don't let that discourage you. Each time you notice yourself reacting and choose to pause, you're building a stronger capacity for mindfulness and inner peace. This practice of non-reactivity is not about escaping life's challenges. It's about approaching those challenges with more clarity, compassion, and wisdom is about transforming our relationships, not just with others but also with ourselves. It's about finding a space of calm and quiet within the heart of the storm. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever struggled with emotional reactivity? What strategies have you found helpful in managing your emotions? What are some of your personal triggers? Do you have any questions about mindfulness or Buddhist principles? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's learn from each other and create a supportive community on this path to inner peace. Remember, the journey to inner peace is not a solitary endeavor. Let's embark on it together, one mindful breath at a time. And as the Buddha said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without.